Okay, I have a new camera and this is my first time filming with this camera, so we'll see what happens. This will be the test. Today I wanted to talk about 5 books. 5 books that I have read so far this year. I've read more, but these are my favorite. I don't have any notes. I don't have any pre-planned things of what I'm gonna say. It's just gonna be a chill video. And I just want to talk about these books because they're amazing. They're all really good. We'll put this here. First, we have Madonna in a Fur Coat. This has been floating around like everywhere. I've seen it everywhere. The main character goes to, I believe it's Germany. He travels to another country and he's trying to find himself. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't even know why he's there. But one day he stumbles into a museum and sees an exhibit, and he sees a painting, a portrait of a woman. And the painting is called Madonna in a Fur Coat. He falls in love with this woman. He goes to the museum every single day to just sit there and watch that painting, just look at it. One day he meets the woman who is actually in the painting. It just kind of tumbles into that. Tragic ending. I love the prose. The prose is beautiful, and the connection between the main character and his love interest, where the guy is pursuing the woman. The woman doesn't really want it, but she does love him and she does treat him as if she wants him, but she doesn't actually want him. But I think it was done really well, and their connection was very close. I like the love interest a lot and her independence. She's also a burlesque dancer, I believe, and I love that part because I also used to be a burlesque dancer. She's very consumed with herself, and she has faults, and so does the main character as well, but they're so different. They oppose each other so well and they work together so well, but then they also work horribly together. It's a really interesting read. This is just about finding oneself in a whole different country, which I can also relate to because we'll talk about that later in another video. Discovering oneself and also discovering love, and I really like this. It wasn't anything, I don't think it's a must read, but if you read it, I think you would enjoy it. The next one is, oh my god, this might be my favorite, An Unquiet Mind by K. Redfield Jamison. It's so gripping, it's so relatable and not. It's so much. There's so much. It's a memoir. We start from the beginning of her life as a child up until, her later years in life. She is a woman since she was a child who struggles with manic depressive bipolar disorder. I think I'm saying that correctly. She has all these challenges that she goes through with her mental health and trying to figure out what works best for her, opposing her mental health, living through it for so many years without proper medication, without proper care. She struggles with suicide and has attempted it multiple times as well, and talks about that a lot. It's just so, this is something I didn't know much about. I also struggle with my own mental illnesses, but this is a whole different world. This is a whole different world. And just being in her head and experiencing with her everything that she has experienced in this life is so touching. The way she describes it, she's such a beautiful writer. You feel like you're in it with her and you understand her and you have so much sympathy for her, but it's not in a, I would say, empathy. You don't pity her, but you have empathy for her because you were being put in her shoes and understand, you understand why she's the way that she is. She is also a psychiatrist, which is such an interesting twist to see her work-life balance with handling her own mental health and illnesses. Having patients that have the same illness as her, it's it's so interesting. There's so much intersectionality within this novel. It's not black and white, it's so gray, and it's amazing. I was touched so much with this book. I would recommend it to anyone. This book should and can find anyone and they will enjoy it. It's so good. It's so good. And I'm really glad that I read it because it made me just look at the world differently and just look at mental illnesses and mental health disorders differently, taking care of them and how to treat them and how to treat people who struggle with these things, people who struggle with manic depressive disorder, people who struggle with bipolar disorder, people who struggle with both. Everything is so intertwined, and I think it's a call to empathy, to be willing to understand people, to understand where they came from, to love people despite what they're dealing with. I loved this so much. 5 stars. I loved this so much. Okay, before we go on to the next books, I would like to first talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Squarespace.
If you're an artist/creative like me or a small business owner in this digital age, it's important to have a place online to display yourself and your work. Squarespace is the perfect place to launch your online brand. It's the all-in-one platform made to help you create your own website. It's perfect for those starting, managing, or growing a brand. On it, you can build a website that fits your brand or business with design flexibility and much room for personal creativity. There are also tons of marketing and business elements at your disposal, such as sending emails and newsletters to subscribers, offering your services, and selling content like online courses, blogs, videos, products, and memberships. I'm personally using Squarespace to kickstart and host my very own online book club, where I choose a book every month for us to read and discuss as a community. So if this all sounds great to you, you can head to squarespace.com/anaislaure to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Thank you so much, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. The next book that I loved so much, 5 stars again, is The Third Life of Grange Copeland by Alice Walker. This book is so underrated. And I know that it will always be underrated. I know that people will never talk about this book because it is so out there. Interesting fact, if you love reading like Black female writers, Alice Walker, this is her first novel that she ever came out with in, it's like 1980 something, I can't remember. And the same year, Toni Morrison also came out with her first novel, The Bluest Eye. It's so crazy because I was seeing so many parallels between the two while reading this, like the writing style and the character development and how there's so many different characters but they all kind of interconnect to provide this one theme. It's about Black masculinity, the corruption and the formation of Black masculinity and Black manhood under white supremacy. Grange Copeland is a man who works on a sharecropping field, and sharecropping is basically second level slavery. That was a legal way of basically doing slavery. It just talks about Black masculinity, Black manhood, the toxicity behind it, and where it developed, where it came from, because there's a lot of talk about toxic masculinity, but I think getting to the root of it is what really disrupts the continuation of it. It also sheds light on the people who suffer the most under toxic masculinity, and that is Black women. Abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. This book is crazy. Like, it's up there with The Bluest Eye. The storyline is phenomenal. It never bores you. Yeah, it's really good. The next one I have is The Passion According to G.H. by Clarice Lispector. So the premise of this book is that this woman who's very well off, she lives in a house of her own. One day she walks into her maid's room and sees things that she doesn't like, and it really ticks her off, and so she starts deciding and plotting how she's going to take everything down and get rid of everything because it feels like this room is not a part of her house. It feels like the maid has made it into her own place when it's like, girl, I pay for this. She's looking through things, she's looking through her closet, and then she finds this cockroach. She gets scared, kills the cockroach. The killing of the cockroach and the sight of it dead with white pus coming out of it triggers her into spiraling into this madness, into this insanity where she is just thinking about death and life and what it is to be alive, what it is to be a woman. I think my favorite part of this was towards the end where she talks about God. And it's things that I've been thinking about, that I've been pondering about on my own. The things that we've been taught about God, the Christian God, what's actually true and what's based in colonization, what's based in trying to get us to conform to a certain way that God never really intended for us to conform. Yeah, let me read this. Okay, this is like way towards the end. So she says, "The horror is that we know that we see God in life itself. It is with our eyes fully open that we see God, and I postpone the face of reality until after my death. It is out of guile, because I prefer to be dead when it is time to see him. In that way, I think I shall not really see him, just as I only have the courage to really dream when I am asleep. I know what I am feeling is serious and could destroy me, because it is like giving myself the news that the kingdom of heaven already is. And I don't want the kingdom of heaven. I don't want it at all. I can stand is the promise of it. But the God is today, his kingdom already began, and his kingdom, my love, is also of this world. I did not have the courage to stop being a promise, and I was promising myself, like an adult who lacks the courage to see she is already an adult and keeps promising herself maturity. The promise is not only for the future, it is yesterday, and it is permanently today. hello? I like underline all of that. Girl, you're spitting. Then there are also times where I'm like, okay, I'm getting lost. This is not for everyone. It's very stream of consciousness and it's very all over the place, and sometimes you don't realize or understand what you're reading and you just kind of have to go past that and let it be. Pick up what really resonates with you and what doesn't, just let it be because it wasn't important to begin with. I did not rate it at all because I don't think this is something you can really rate. She has inspired me so much with my writing, and just to really, not to completely get rid of the rules of literature that confine us, but to use them to my will and to not let them confine me, to use them to allow me to blossom as a writer, and if it's confining me, to let go of it. So amazing. Then the last book that I actually just read, like I finished 5 minutes ago, Annie John by Jamaica Kincaid. This book is weird. It's weird, but it's so like enticingly weird. I don't even, I just read this and I don't know how to describe it. It's about a young girl. It's a coming of age story about a young girl who is in this town and finding herself, and she in the beginning has this such a strong relationship with her mom. All of a sudden one day when she realizes that she's beginning to grow into herself as a child, forming different parts of her body and seeing different things, experiencing different things, she starts to have this like conflict with her mom, and she doesn't feel the same love from her mom as she once did, the same care and devotion, and it causes her to start hating her mother. And this is such an interesting thing because I needed this story at this point in my life. I needed it right now because I'm also writing my novel revolves around a lot of the themes that she wrote about in this book. The often conflicting relationship between a mother and daughter, and how there is so much immense love, but also there is like tinges of hate. She also is discovering her, I don't know if sexuality is the word, but she's not straight. She's a little girl who loves other little girls and wants to express that. And it's not just one little girl that she loves, like there are multiple, and sometimes she forgets about the last little girl that she loved and focuses on this new girl that she's like so in love with. I loved that aspect of it, the finding of oneself, of one's sexuality when they're young. We like exclude sexuality and discovering oneself when it comes to who they're attracted to and who they have the capacity to love. I think that we restrict that exploration only to adults, when I think it's honestly children who explore more than adults. I definitely did when I was young. And so this really made me feel like a sense of like, okay, I wasn't weird. I wasn't weird for loving girls and wanting to have experiences with other girls when I was young. And that was a beautiful thing that I really liked about this. There is this one scene that like my jaw dropped. So she's with this girl on a lighthouse. The girl starts to pinch her. So she said she began to pinch me. She said she pinched hard, picking up pieces of my almost non-existent flesh and twisting it around. At first, I vowed not to cry, but it went on for so long that tears I could not control streamed down my face. I cried so much that my chest began to heave, and then, as if my heaving chest caused her to have some pity on me, she stopped pinching me and began to kiss me on the same spots where shortly before I had felt the pain of her pinch. Oh, the sensation was delicious, the combination of pinches and kisses. And so wonderful we found it that, almost every time we met, pinching by her, followed by tears from me, followed by kisses from her, were the order of the day. I stopped wondering why all the girls whom I had mistreated and abandoned followed me around with looks of love and adoration on their faces. I said, oh my God, hello? Affection after pain. Like the sensuality of experiencing affection after pain, affection from the person who caused you pain, and how that can be so sweet and delicious. That's such an interesting concept. And for like a child to experience it as well, like two girls to experience that together. That's so interesting. I think I would rate this a 4 stars. I really liked it altogether. Then some parts were just like a little like, okay. But yeah, I think it was a really good novel. Her books are so easy to read. She's such like an accessible writer. Those were my books. Ooh. Those were my books that I have read so far, which I loved. If I had to pick which one I loved the most, An Unquiet Mind, it would totally be An Unquiet Mind. And then I believe Third Life of Grange Copeland. Maybe those are tied. I don't know. I really liked An Unquiet Mind. Well, thank you for watching today's video. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, I will hopefully see you very soon. Bye. I love you.